Chicken here, bring you another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we're going to be going over some Mega Crab prep and details to get you ready and your task force for this week on the Mega Crab number 8, hopefully dropping, speculated to be March 30th, which is this Friday. Looks like it's probably going to be around that time. So for this crab, all we know about it is it seems like the theme is the anniversary crab, because we have these anniversary statue rewards. And other than that, the only thing we know is that the new prototypes are going to be implemented into the crab. So we don't know what these prototypes actually do yet, except for the Simo. Other than that, we're just going to be kind of thrown into the abyss here and just kind of hopefully come out swimming. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So let's go over some tips and tricks that you and your task force can use to make the most out of the Mega Crab. So since the crab's a multi-day event, we don't know, based on this one, how long that's actually going to be. Because now we're getting into, for the first time ever, we're getting into the monthly Mega Crab, right? So we don't know if this is going to change the time. I imagine they're not going to be as long and drawn out as they typically were, because if it's every month, that's a pretty long period of time, right? To be, players would get burnt out on the crab if it was the typical 4 days or so. So, look at the shock nose. This is crazy. Alright, so the first tip, never sit at 8 out of 8 attacks. You're just wasting time. You're just wasting valuable time that you could be attacking. Even so, before you go to sleep, or before you sign off for an extended period of time, you always want to make sure that you're not at 8 out of 8 attacks, even if it means using a couple GBE attacks to soften up the base for when you go ahead and boost in the morning. So make sure you do that. So the next tip, warriors don't work nearly as well as ranged troops unless you're clearing specific targets. This is more so for the later stages. Stages 1 to probably 18 to 20, you're probably going to be alright for using warriors and soloing all these bases. But anything beyond that, you're going to want to use your spread out troops, you're going to want to use your Scorcher tanks, you're going to want to use your Rifle Crowd Zuka Medic, you're going to want to use your spread out Heavy Zuka. That's going to net you, that's going to get you the farthest on the crab overall. They're just more powerful units. They do more damage. They have more health. So using warriors should only be for specific attacks where you want to clear, say, a couple defenses, or you have something like that planned. Boosting resource reward is useful, but Power Stone rewards are fixed, so do not boost Power Stone chance. So I threw this out to the PSC Life a few weeks ago, and he did actually go ahead and confirm that the Power Stone chance does not work on the Mega Crab. So guys, make sure you're not boosting the Power Stone chance statue, as you're just going to be wasting boosts that you could be using on your offensive statues to get further on the Mega Crab, thus getting more Power Stones. So make sure you don't make that mistake. Chicken has definitely done that one in the past. So if you have less than 8 out of 8 attacks, sometimes finishing a level isn't the best strategy. Wait for your base/armory upgrades to finish first. So this is obviously more so for lower levels. If you don't have all of your upgrades finished right now, then, of course, if you're using your newly acquired resources to max out your armory, to max out your gunboat abilities, all that good stuff, if you're still upgrading them, make sure that they finish. Or if you have a couple extra gems, go ahead and throw them down on the time to finish those upgrades. That's going to be a good use of your gems, because it's also going to get you farther on Mega Crab, which is going to get you a ton more resources, which is therefore in turn going to help you upgrade your things even faster, right? So. Number 7, don't feel that it's a failure to retreat. It's often a great strategy, especially when boosted. This goes to the people that don't have endless reserves. You're not going all out on the crab, buying endless reserves, using all your power powder, things like that. If you retreat, you can save some gold, you can save some diamonds, you can save some power powder by not having to wait and reload your troop times. And yeah, don't go into the crab blind. Don't assume that the crab stages are the same as player-based stages, because it's a whole different game. The stages are usually much bigger. So your strategies where, like something we're doing right now, this would actually work okay for Mega Crab because we're using armored units, but your troops are going to have to plow through more defenses than you're used to using them on. So make sure that that you're just aware of this, and you're either boosting up troop health or something like that to make up for the difference. So if you're using medics and your troops' health gets low, simply flare and possibly smoke as far from the defense as you can. This will heal and allow you to regroup and take down additional defenses. No need to rush. So that's a good tip, just in general, for using troops with medics, like tanks, which is what most people will probably be using on the Mega Crab. It's just a good way to heal everybody up, get out of the way of defenses, and not have to use medkits and not just let them sit there and get completely picked off. Again, just kind of general tips and tricks, guys, is kind of what we're aiming for. So next, other players will have huge amounts of loots. Keep your map clear of NPC bases during Crab. This is a really good one. Keep your map clear of NPC bases during Crab and find new opponent on anyone who doesn't have huge amounts of resources. Save up these bases and you can attack them next week to help out your upgrades even further. So there's always, after the Mega Crab, there's always a period where people kind of aren't really playing the game. They're kind of taking a break because after the Crab, everyone's a little bit hungover from Boom Beach. And if you can save up those bases, because if you spawn a base, this guy right here, if I scout him, and he has that many resources, I'm going to be able to get these resources whenever. It's like I could wait a year from now and attack this base, and his resources are still going to be here as long as I don't skip the game, regardless of what he actually has in his game, right? So, little things like that, if you're just, and just save those up, get your resources from the Crab, and then save up these huge, we call them whale bases. Save up your whales on your map, and then attack them next week when you don't have the Crab, so you're just getting an influx of resources from doing it that way. So that's a really important tip. The next tip, guys, manage your diamonds well. Crab's a good time to spend some to finish upgrades quickly because Crab is a huge money maker exactly for this reason. Just people spending diamonds in general to finish out their upgrades and get even farther on the Crab, like we just kind of talked about in the last couple tips. Okay, so there's two different types of beaches on Mega Crab, small and large. Small beaches can be covered with 2 smokes, but the large beaches require 3 smokes to be covered. So don't just blindly do the same kind of strategy. Make sure that you're looking at the actual beach layout itself and know if it's a 2 or 3 smoke drop, so you're not wasting GB or possibly losing an entire attack because you didn't realize that. That can definitely be tricky, and that's definitely a good tip. That can definitely slip a bunch of people up. Let's go ahead and get bullet going up like this. Okay, and then next, oh man. Okay, so the last tip, guys, getting the furthest can be detrimental if your storages are full. Plan your attacks around your upgrades and don't push unless that's what makes it fun to you. So, like, you'll notice when Chicken pushes, I'll typically go to the point where I'm actually spending more diamonds, I'm spending more power powder, I'm spending more gold than I'm actually gaining, and that's purely for the cause of trying to get as far on Mega Crab as possible. Look at that Shock Knuckles. That was the worst Shock Knuckles in the history of Boom Beach. Oh, man. But yeah, so there's a difference. There's a difference in pushing on the Crab, and there's a difference in farming on the Crab. You should probably decide what you're going to do before you go into it. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Some things that we typically see on the Crab are going to be cryo bombs, the speed serum clusters and things like that are things that we typically see. So cryo bombs deal damage when the core is destroyed, so don't let your Zookas get poofed by standing right next to 2 of them. So the cryo bombs can actually kill your troops after you beat the base, so make sure that you're not sitting in a pocket right next to them if they do in fact blow up. But yeah, and then next up, let's just talk about statues. Now, we've made a few videos on this in the past, but just to reiterate, guys, Mega Crab is different from Operations. Operations, you're going to see a lot of building health, a lot of building health, and a lot of building damage, and it's basically just you're tailoring your statues towards using Smoky Zookas because that's more or less all you can do. But on the Crab, you're going to be using a lot more armored units, so it's going to be more beneficial to throw down a troop health. You see Chicken's already got his in storage right here. I am going to put that down from before when the Crab lands. I'll probably get rid of a troop damage and keep the gunboat energy. So probably the most optimal for Crab would be less GB, more troop health, and more troop damage. You really want to have that. You really want to buff up your troops and make sure that that you're getting the most out of them as possible, because you're going to be running a lot of kind of mindless Scorcher tank especially stages 20 to 35. That's really where things are going to kind of benefit using Scorchers and tanks versus the later stages where you're going to get into your crazy Smoky Zuka attack. So, guys, that is everything that we wanted to cover for this little kind of Mega Crab prep guide and chat. So if you have any tips and tricks for the Mega Crab, please let me know them down below in the comments, and we can get more just helpful kind of tips down below in the comments for Mega Crab, your plans on it. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting to see how these new prototypes are gonna work in the crab. Guys, thanks so much for watching. That is gonna wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see the huge Mega Crab live stream we're going to be doing at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning whenever the crab lands for chicken time. It's 6 p.m. your local time, but my game account is on like New Zealand time, so I'll get it in like the middle of the night, which is always a blast. So guys, thanks so much for watching. That is going to wrap up the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative, and we'll see you next one, guys. Chicken out.